touch that again. Okay. So bitch ain't got no drawers on. We don't need no malfunctions. But I am back and I want to have a conversation today. That is not gonna take long. Just a little bit to unpack. Yeah, just a little bit to unpack. And so, we're living in times that are very distracting. There's a lot going on in the world, and I don't blame people who are working extremely hard to elevate themselves in this climate for wanting to have those opportunities to escape by going to concerts, going on cruises, because the more we participate in this here matrix, the more we get invested in this matrix, upholding it, that therapy becomes very pricey, that self-care becomes very pricey. So the more we are invested in the system, the more we need back from the system, which is why we have these strikes going on, because these are people who have been extremely invested in the system, who have been extremely invested in just society as it is, and I'm not saying that there is not any work being done to elevate us all collectively, but for the most part, if you are a part of SAG, if you are an accredited actor, then you have to take the roles that are available to you. And people who identify with blackness have been taking roles that have been exploitive since, black exploitation films began. Been an um, there's been an agenda in our nation to control how deeply melanated beings who were born and raised in America are seen. There's a there's a strategic lens. There's a strategic way we've been forced to look at people of color throughout the world. When I was growing up, we used to see the Feed the Children videos where, the children were hungry and starving with bloated bellies. And so there's always been this this lens in which we have been trained to look at black people through. And I think for many of us, it's made us uncomfortable with ourselves. Like imagine the Barbie movie getting so much support from people who look like me, and the Little Mermaid didn't get that same type of support, but I saw Barbie popping up everywhere. Like everybody was excited about Barbie, black people, white people. And we know that Barbie was really designed to empower um, Caucasian people. And later, um, black people were included because there was a market for black people. So we have to realize that we live in a society that's about market. It's about economic increase. It's about what can you add to, what can you bring to the table. That's how our nation is set up. And so when they include you, they don't include you because they love you, because people were out there advocating for you, because like advocacy is important, but let's be clear. The bottom line is, what do you bring to the table economically? And so when your dollars start to matter, when they start to see your money making a difference, that's when you matter. That is why the trans movement is where it is. That's why trans people are relevant right now. That's why they're a part of the conversation. And so when we talk about trans people being erased, we have to consider what's more valuable, a trans person who has to go through all of these surgeries many times, not all the time, because all trans people do not need surgeries to be themselves or to be who they say they are. But in a capitalist society that is visual as all get out, a being who is going to have breast surgery, going to have breasts removed, who is going to have a vaginal plasty, who is going to have a penis added on. These are surgeries that cost anywhere from ten to hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so trans people are cash cows. Trans people are where the money at. Now there may be states who have so much money um, because of the Christian community, because the Christians are the ones who are really giving the pushback. We lie and say that there's a separation between church and state, but there's not. And so for states that are less liberal and have a stronger Christian base, or have a stronger what is it, Judaism, that have a stronger base like that, then there may be pushback in those states because the church provides enough money to support them not needing to use trans people to make money off of them. And so those states that still have a very strong religious background, strong religious support, those states that have that type of support, those are the states that you're going to see that are going to give the pushback on the transness, okay? Because they're trying to keep things as they are. They're trying to conserve what is. They're trying to conserve the binary. They're trying to conserve patriarchy. They're trying to conserve men being in power. They're trying to conserve this idea of what it means to be a man, what it means to be a woman. They're trying to conserve these binary nuclear home type situations. That's what they want to preserve. And so in states like that, you're going to see pushback, but the trans community is not going to go back underground. What is going to happen is they're going to become strongholds, just like in the Roe versus Wade situation. There are going to be strongholds and safe havens where people are going to have to migrate to because there's more strength there. Right now, New York is becoming a stronghold. It's becoming a safe haven. And there are places, I think in Nevada, no, not Nevada, Colorado, that's becoming a stronghold for feminine beings or AFABs or trans men who need to abort a child. And so what is going to happen is we're going to start seeing people migrating and relocating to certain areas of the country, and certain places are just going to become more known for this group of people, or for having these services or having these opportunities. And so people are just fixing to start being shifted around. But as far as the trans movement going back underground and no longer existing, like I said, at the end of the day, it's about bottom lines. It's about numbers. Everything is about numbers in a capitalist society. And the numbers that the trans community is bringing right now make them valuable. Not only do trans people influence other people to spend money, you need hormone therapy, surgeries. Many of us, need all of these things. And we also influence non-trans people to participate in these surgeries and to get these surgeries. So if there is an agenda, trans people are being used just like everyone else is being used, because trans people have needed to assimilate in order to be accepted by the binary. And so now as we step into this power and we see this season where we're being highlighted, they've played upon a lot of our vulnerability with needing to fit in, with needing to reflect the binary, with needing to be able to be respected and accepted in certain spaces. So yeah, I don't think that all of us know what's going on. I don't think that all of us are aware of how we're being used. This is one of the reasons why I don't get on the internet and talk about my surgeries all the time. This is why I don't get on the internet and uphold. I never was the type of girl that got on the internet and bragged about silicone. I never was the type of girl that got on the internet and bragged about implants. I never was the type of girl that got on the internet and bragged about any surgery that I've ever had to have in order to feel more comfortable in my body, because I realized how that is used to make money off of other people. And if I was just about money, if I was just about getting a bag, I would be one of those beings that would get online and would promote different surgeons, different surgeries, because this is creating a culture where people feel like they need to change their body, when people feel like they need to change how they show up in society in order to be respected. And so it creates a culture that commodifies our existence even more. Now, to further unpack that, I'm gonna make some comments, and I don't want what I'm saying to be misinterpreted or misconstrued. So let's go to the presidents of the United States, how they're picked. Okay, so we don't live in a democracy on a federal level. We live in a republic. And if you do research, you can find out that the president is not chosen by poor and working class people. The president of the United States is not picked by everyday citizens in society. The president is picked through the electoral college vote. Electoral college votes are not held by anyone who is poor and working class. So poor and working class people do not pick the president of the United States. The reason why the electoral college vote was created was because the the people who created the Constitution, the people who gathered in that room together, did not trust the people to select the president. Now, the president picks those who are going to be on Supreme Court. The Supreme Court then helps to reinforce the law. So how Roe versus Wade was overturned was not because people didn't get out and vote, because it didn't matter who would have voted during Donald Trump's election. What matters is who those people with electoral college votes elected. So you all could get out there and run. You all could get out there. Remember, Hillary won the popular vote. She did not win the electoral college vote. And so when you get a president in office who is selected by people who hold power through the electoral college vote, you have to realize that that is how he was able to select certain people to make sure that they could get rid of the Roe versus Wade thing. So this idea that we have the right to pick our president as average people is not true. When we get on the federal level and we start talking about the president of the United States, the president is selected by the ones who hold the electoral college vote. And you can have an electoral college vote and not even necessarily live in America. So let's have that conversation. So there's a few things that we need to unpack as people. We need to unpack the fact that our vote as regular people, our vote as regular citizens does not pick the president, and the president selects the Supreme Court. If I'm wrong, correct me. I'm learning. I'm still learning every day. So if I'm wrong about the electoral college vote, please leave your comments in the comment section. If I'm wrong about the president selecting the judges, please. But from my understanding is that regular people do not elect the president of the United States, but the president has the power to appoint judges to the Supreme Court. And so if things are operating like that, how can we really truly make a difference where it matters if we don't have any power over who gets elected to the Supreme Court because we don't have any power over who the president is? And so instead of arguing about things like who's the most bigoted, because let's be clear, at the end of the day, um, I like a lot of people don't like Caitlyn Jenner. I've heard T.S. Madison make a lot of comments about Caitlyn Jenner. Caitlyn Jenner is bigoted. You know, this is not something that Caitlyn um this is not this Caitlyn lived most of her life as a male with privilege, as a man with privilege. So Caitlyn, it's gonna be hard for Caitlyn to step away from that privilege. But Caitlyn is a bigot. There's no way to dress it up. But does that mean that because you're pro-black and because you love black people, that you can't also be a bigot? Does that mean that you can't be bigoted as a black person? Does that mean that you can't love your melanin? That you can't love being black? That you can't be comfortable in your skin? That you can't be cozy and still be a bigot? Now, when we talk about what it means to be a bigot, we have to unpack a lot of things that take place in the trans community. Now, I saw a video that Tasha K did recently, and it was in response to the response that Maddie gave. And she said a whole bunch of valid things in there, which is why I've always been this person that would rather date a broke man than a closet man. Let me say that again for the people in the back row. I've always preferred a man who had no resources over a man who had resources that would deny me in public. I've been, girls always say, why you messing with that man and he ain't got no money? Because the man with the money wants to keep me a secret. And in keeping me a secret, I am upholding sexism. I am upholding patriarchy. I am upholding misogyny. The transmisia, we don't even need to use that word. Because the reason why he's attracted to me is because of my femininity. But I have the kind of femininity that he's ashamed of publicly. It's like some men love big girls. Some white men love dark-skinned women, but they will not be with them in public. So we don't even need to use transmisia. We don't even need to use transphobia. Because the reason why he's attracted to me is because of my womanhood. But the brand of womanhood that I possess is something that he's ashamed of. Something that can be harmful to his reputation as a patriarch. As a man in a patriarchal society. So my brand of womanhood is a detriment to him. So when I uphold him and allow him to make me his mistress, I am helping to uphold sexism, misogyny, and patriarchy. We have girls who literally get mad at girls for calling these men out. Now, if you calling this man out for clout, then that's something that you need to talk to your creator about. But if you're calling this man out because you tired of being his secret, because you're tired of him hiding you because you're tired of him treating you that way, who am I to tell you not to speak your truth? But I also have to warn you of the consequences that could come behind that, because men don't like to be exposed. They don't like to be exposed as bigots, as misogynists, as pigs. They don't like to be exposed. When you say, what are you exposing if you're a real woman? It's the same thing of a woman born with a womb who is big, who's a big girl, and he's embarrassed for people to know he messing with big girls. He's embarrassed for he's Caucasian and he's embarrassed to tell his family that he wants to be with this black woman. And so when we have trans elders and trans leaders who are protecting these men who are in the closet, who are protecting these men who get to get to play this game and make this money and make these moves because they're not living in their truth, we are protecting patriarchy. We are protecting the father and not giving a shit about the mother. But then we want to get the mother together and tell the mother that she needs to do this, she needs to respect us, and she needs to do that. We want to tell the mother how to move and how to behave. We want to tell the divine feminine, shh, be quiet. You disrespecting me. Don't talk to me like that. Don't treat me like that. And this is not just for trans women. This is for any woman that allows her integrity, that allows her self-respect to be compromised in order for him to keep capitalizing and for you to be able to get crumbs off of his table. If you continue to let these men capitalize as patriarchs while you take the crumbs that they give you, while they protect their identities, you are a part of the problem. It's that simple. And a lot of what's happening right now, if we were to get certain women who were to step into politics, whether they were biological, I mean, I don't like using the word biological because I'm biological. I'm not a fake human being. I'm a real human being. So I'm biological too. Um, Womb bearers, beings who are born with wombs, non-trans women. Um, it's gonna take a minute for them to really figure out who they are without having to try to fit into what the male gaze has, how the male gaze has taught them to see themselves. Because a lot of, I was having this conversation with one of my sisters earlier today. We was talking about how when young males are born, or young boys, or young beings assigned male at birth, we was talking about how when you are born, you could act feminine, you know, and act like a woman. And she was like, behavior is learned, but and so I didn't argue with her about behavior being learned, but I think energy is channeled because no one taught me to be feminine. They tried to teach me to stop being feminine. They tried to teach me to act more masculine. And we always say, oh, because the daddy wasn't there. I know several trans women who are super feminine, who have father figures around, who were alpha men, who ran their household. I know trans feminine beings who had fathers around who still wound up being feminine, who still wound up being more feminine than masculine. So I don't think it's having a father there that creates the behavior. If that's who you lean towards, if that's who you're more likely to be, it is what it is. I had to I was taught masculine things. I was like, we're groomed, we're taught. And so I feel like I was channeling certain energy, channeling certain behaviors already. They'll say, "Oh, it was hormones in the food, it was hormones in this, it was hormones in that." The planet is called Mother Earth. They say we came from Africa. They call it the motherland. We eating from mother. And you want to tell me about some hormones that I'm eating in the food? It's all mama. Mother Earth, Mother Africa. We eating from mother. The first 9 months we in the womb, we eating from mother. So miss me with this hormones in the food shit. Miss me with it. Cause y'all just trying to make up something to justify this masculinity that this masculinity that's here for the brotherhood. This masculinity, this type of masculinity that feels compelled to keep femininity in check. This masculinity that's threatened by powerful feminine beings. That is your attempt to check powerful femininity. That is your attempt to check alpha films. That's your attempt to check that. Spewing this malarkey about hormonal imbalances. It's our mother. And channeling a divine feminine energy, or navigating more, or resting more in my femininity, doesn't make me inferior. Having the ability to cry, to show compassion, it doesn't mean that I'm still not ready for war. It just means that you can't pull me out there as easy as somebody else. Cause it's a lot of beings who born with vaginas that do not sit in that do not rest in their femininity. Being born with a vagina, being born with ovaries and fallopian tubes does not necessarily mean you gonna rest in your femininity. You could be just as violent or even more violent. Sometimes beings who are born with vaginas have what you call a Napoleon complex. They feel smaller. They feel like they less stronger. So they feel like they gotta pop out first. They feel like they gotta be even more aggressive. Gotta pay attention to people. It's so many different variations of us on this planet, and everybody dealing with their own stuff, and we not really trying to understand each other, and we're letting society tell us who we are instead of paying attention to what's going on around us and what's happening in us, what's going on inside of us. You need to learn you, and you need to know you. But I'm gonna tell you this: I can't sit up here and talk about somebody else being a bigot. I can't sit up here and talk about somebody else being a misogynist if I'm upholding misogyny itself. I love men. I love the masculine form, but I also want them to evolve. And I don't think that them evolving means that they have to become women. I don't think that them evolving means that they have to become super feminine. I don't think that evolving means they gotta grow breasts and they gotta get hips and they gotta, wear stockings and heels. If that's what you want to do, if that's a part of your process, I'm not here to condemn you. I didn't come to put you down. But I do think that this idea of what it means to be a man, I think that it needs to be revisited. Cause y'all are put down a man for wearing a skirt with a bow tie on the red carpet, but y'all are support men running around here with their pants hanging below their knees and their booty jiggling while they walk, clapping, boxers in the booty hole. And y'all will support that, but then you'll get mad at another man for wearing a dress with a bow tie. I mean, honestly, I don't want my partner doing either. But if I had to choose between the booty cheeks clapping with the boxes in the booty crack and the skirt at the bottom and the blazer at the top, I'm gonna go with the skirt at the bottom. Cause I don't want my baked goodies all out for everybody to see. I don't want everybody to see his piece wanging from the back to the front and the little booty cheeks clapping together. If that's what he got going, I don't want people to see that. So I feel like there we need to help those who identify with manhood to evolve. We need to help them to become more whole. We need to heal the broken man and restore that being to the manifestation. And then we can start seeing our policies here, because let's be clear, they always say, "Oh, you a man, you'll never birth nothing, you'll never be me, you'll never be a woman, you'll never bring no." They don't gotta bring no babies here. Men ain't gotta do that no more. They don't need y'all to make babies no more. You know what men are birthing? You know what men are making? You know what men creating right now? Artificial intelligence. They making robots and android people and clones that's gonna be able to come here and do everything that's been coming out your pussy. All the workers for the plantation, they not gonna need y'all no more. They don't need y'all to birth no babies no more. Y'all, what man? You can't do it. You'll never be me. You'll never be able to. You'll never. They don't need you to. The, they find somebody else to do it. They have. Robots is their babies. Robots gonna be doing all the jobs, all the work, that's their babies. So we could keep sitting up here bragging about I'm a real woman and I'm this and I'm mother and I'm da 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 da. Meanwhile, Handmaiden's Tale is loading. Loading. While the women sitting up here arguing. I'm real, you fake. I'm real, you fake. Guess what the men doing? Getting the cyborgs ready, getting the clones ready, getting the robots ready, Transformers, Megatron is coming. And these babies that y'all pushing out your coochie, they being fed so much garbage and they're in such a garbage ass environment, they're not gonna be able to withstand what's coming. So I'm gonna leave you with that. I'm gonna leave you. I'm that's it for me. You're a real woman. You making real babies. Can't nobody do what you do. But guess what? In a capitalist society, in a patriarchal society, that's about to be obsolete. They don't want nothing but worker bees anyway. All they need is people that's gonna be, all they need is that people that's gonna do the work as they continue to mine the rest of the resources from this planet so they could go to another one. And so we can continue arguing about who a real woman and who a fake woman. And a lot of our sisters is not our sisters. They ops. Cause they right with them men who wanna see you go obsolete. Black woman, real woman. Talking about making enemy of your allies. Stop being common. Stop being simple. Use your brain. What's left of it. Cause AI ain't coming, it's here. And they gonna push it out in the next couple of years. It's gonna really be out there. So baby, while you arguing about you'll never be me, you can't have no babies, you can't make, bitch, AI, that's my children. And I'm not speaking for me, cause I ain't made no robots or nothing. But I ain't got no beef with you. I be talking to my tablets all the time, my computers. I talk to all of my AI. I talk to all of it. We good, huh? I be like this. Hey, I'm sorry I dropped you. I'm sorry I cracked you. We good, huh? We good, huh? I'm talking to my tablet now. We good, huh? Anyway, let me go ahead and go. So like I just wanted to bring the focus back on that. Watch these trans people, watch these black women, these non-trans and trans people, watch everybody because they're trying to distract us. They're distracting us. CNN just said the other day that alien life. Now, I do think that there's going to be a fake alien invasion first. Just knowing the government, how I know the government, they're gonna try to scare the shit out of us with a fake invasion first, and then, and I was talking to some friends and the other day, and they was like saying the same thing. Like it's gonna be a fake one first, then it's gonna be the real one. And I wouldn't be surprised if they try to turn us against the aliens, and the aliens is not even the real enemy. So, right now it's time for us to not really be trusting every source. It's time for us to start growing spiritually so that we can have the discernment that we need to know who is really here for us, to know who's really supporting us. As we get closer to election time, it's about to get weird again. It was weird last time. It's about to get weird again. Y'all going to the Beyonce concert? Baby, we got free tickets to the best show on earth. To be born in the time where, to live in a time where AI about to roll out. I done seen a robot walking amongst us, so I know some of them already out. Bless the truth. I know some of them already out because I heard one before and it wasn't Caucasian. So, AI about to roll out. That they talking more about the aliens. We are living in a phenomenal time right now. Our generation is about to see some stuff. So right now, build up your discernment. Stop trusting people simply because they look like you. I'm guilty of the same thing. Cause somebody look like me, cause somebody have some of my childhood experiences, cause you have some of my trauma, and I can relate to you because of the trauma that we share. But me and you having shared trauma doesn't mean that you gonna have my back when the dookie hit the fan. Doesn't mean you gonna care about me when shit get real. We're in this predicament as black indigenous people because we were betrayed by people who look like us. There's nothing new under the sun. And I'm going to let you know, I'm for you, but boo, if you ain't for yourself, I don't know what to tell you. Because, bitch, I'm not fixing to drown trying to save you. Bitch, I'm not Jesus. Bitch, I'm not dying on the cross for your sins. Either we going together or I'ma leave you. That's how I'm coming. I'm telling you now. Either we going together or I'm leaving you, but bitch, I'm not about to die for you. Bitch, I'm not about to die on the cross for your sins, bitch. I'm not interested in any of that. I'll never understand how y'all love Jesus so much, but y'all let him die by himself. I'll never understand that. Y'all love Jesus so much, y'all worshiping Jesus to this day. But Jesus died by himself? The only other people was up on the cross with him was people who was being murdered for other stuff? Like nobody said it wasn't a mass suicide, but y'all love Jesus like that? Something smell fishy about that. No. Mm-mm. That story not adding up for me. I'm not buying it. I don't buy it. It's we not know. Either we all riding together or I'm bye. Y'all deal with that by yourself. I'm going over here. But I'm not running out there and jumping in front nothing or taking nothing so y'all can continue on to support bigotry and patriarchy and racism and sexism. Child, I'm not dying for y'all to continue to be foolish. No. I'm not suffering for people to continue on being foolish because y'all talking about he died for our grace and he died for our mercy. Really? He suffered? Really? So that's your justification. Jesus died so you could continue to be foolish. Really? I'm not buying it. I don't buy it. And I don't buy it anyway. I'm not buying it. Something about that story is fishy for me. Like something about that, it's just the math is not mathing. But anyway, let me light my candle. As above, so below, as within, so without. And before I get ready to go, I want to say this too about generational wealth. I said this before in a video and I'm going to say it again. Some of y'all be black this, black that, black this, black that, black power, black generational wealth. And I was watching this girl the other day who is she always puts out good content. But see, when you've been doing that spiritual work, you clock foolishness. You can clock it even in the most intelligent person. And she was like, she was speaking on closed practices, and so like practicing Santa Maria, voodoo, whatever practice that you're practicing, um, how Caucasian people um, would be tormented if they were to participate in closed practices because your ancestors are not going to welcome them, because just because you're dead it doesn't mean that you've forgiven these people that was hunting your ancestors. But if we believe that the soul is immortal, and I've said this before in a video, I said like only humans have souls. But I don't think only humans have souls. I think that other species have souls as well. I think that you can be reincarnated as an animal. So I definitely think that there are some animals who are not human who have souls. And so if I'm able to believe that some animals have souls, then I definitely can believe that Caucasian people have souls. Maybe not all of them, but I definitely believe that, just like I don't believe that every black person have a soul, every African, every Negro has a soul. Some people are just empty. You've never done the work. It's there. It's a little small slither, but you didn't. You've ignored it so much. It just doesn't have any power. It just doesn't. It doesn't guide you. It doesn't lead you. You're on autopilot. Your soul is sleeping. Your soul is being manipulated by other forces, and you're just on autopilot. So I do definitely believe that I could die today and be reborn into a Caucasian vessel. And so that's my issue with racial supremacy. I think a lot of people who are guiding our movement, who are black power this, black power that, I I don't think that they believe in reincarnation. I don't think that they believe in the reanimation of the soul in a different life form. It would make sense that if you were so gung ho on one race ruling things and one race, and you were just to the point of where you just hated Caucasian people and you just hated every other race that wasn't black, and you were just, I'm rooting for everything black all the time, and then you die and be reborn as the very thing you couldn't stand. It makes sense. And so when we start talking about how our ancestors might not allow certain entities into their spiritual practices, we have to ask ourselves, which ancestors are these? Because there are all types of ancestors. There are ancestors in our bloodline, in each of our bloodline right now, that are rooting for you and that are hating on you. All your ancestors are not rooting for you. You want to know how you know this? You want to know how we know this? Are all your family members rooting for you that's alive? Do all your family members love you that are living? Do all your family members love you that are alive? Are all of them rooting for you that are alive? So why would all of your family members be rooting for you that are dead? Some of my ancestors are saying, I see what you're doing, Kaneen. It's about time. Yes, do it. Some of my ancestors are saying, nah, We like things how it is. Don't change that. You messing it up. So I have ancestors who are for me on the physical plane and against me. I have ancestors on the spiritual plane who are for me and they are against me. My work is to get more of them to be for me, is to win more of them over. But they all ain't. My work is to try to appease all of them. And I'm never going to appease all of them, but that's the work. That's why I maneuver like I maneuver. That's why I'm not always 100% bougie. That's why I'm not always trying to be perfect Patty, because I still got some gutter ratchet ancestors who need that from me. And if they don't get it, they'll start hating. They'll start throwing monkey wrenches because I haven't given them their time. It's a season for everything, and for everything it's a season. And so I've learned I got to give a little, I got to do a little something, give them a little attention, because if I don't give them what they want, they're going to start hating. And what that looked like, it looked like depression. It looked like spiraling. Because I'm not honoring everything that's in me. And so that's been my work, is to learn how to make space for and to honor and not suppress completely those parts of myself that our society does not celebrate or make room for. Learning how to walk that tightrope, learning how to balance that. Anyway, that's enough of this speech that I've given you. I know it's a lot to unpack. You will have to go back and get into this video, because I started off with politics and worked my way from politics to bigotry, and from bigotry I went into spirituality. I am a powerful storyteller. I'm just thankful to be used. That's all. I surprise myself sometimes when I be like, girl, you said that. But anyway, as above, so below, as within, so without. As above, so below, as within, so without. As above, so below, as within, so without. Thank you, God Goddess. Thank you, God Goddess. Whether I'm big or short, or whether I'm tall or short, big or small, light or dark, I am a part of it all. Thank you, God Goddess. A man, a woman, Lelem Leler. This candle represents the Trinity, past, present, and future. I pray for those who are here, those who have come, and those who are coming. May this candle be a light, helping us to move to our respective places and stations in the next part of the journey. So mote it be. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good one. I'm not going to be posting for a while. I had to do some self care to come back and do this, and I'm gonna take I'm gonna take some more time after this video, just to kind of like just to be, So this some good eating. It'll hold you. Love you.